Alrighty then, g'day everyone, and welcome. My name's Michael, I'm the Dead Aussie Gamer, and welcome to Pathfinder 2nd Edition, The Curse of the Crimson Throne. As you notice, my devilishly handsome place has been replaced with the avatar of the Dead Aussie Gamer. This is because, as some of you may know, my teeth have fallen out, so I'm on some pain meds, my head looks like freaking Quagmire from Family Guy, and I have decided that this is something a bit more palatable. So, behold, Dead Aussie Gamer in all of his glory. Now, now it's been a while since we've played Curse of the Crimson Throne, so we're all going to be kind of getting back into the full swing of things. But joining me today is none other than the wonderful and amazing cast of characters played by my Patreons who support the channel, keep me alive, make sure that I get fed, and of course, get to come and have a great time with me. Good morning, good evening, good afternoon, everyone. How are y'all doing?
Hello.
Going pretty good.
Hello.
Yay!
Hello.
That's awesome. And a big shout out and thank you to Malakitha and to Laura Bones for their subs. Continuing, of course, their support for the channel. It is a big, big, big love. And we are close to a hype train now, so yay! Also, super big shout out to everyone in chat. I could see that we got already some familiar faces. Midnight Menagerie, Callie, and Mr. Game and Art. Good to see you, as well as Miss Bowman. It was so good to see you and catch up with you at PAX this year. I hope you traveled safe for the rest of the journey home. Yeah, there you go. Now, as always, we're going to take a quick moment to thank our sponsors for the channel. These guys help us look good and keep us keep us looking as well as we can. This is, of course, boom. Hero Forge, which you can see for the wonderful artworks that you see on screen here. Sirenscape for the wonderful sounds that you'll hear throughout the course of the game. And, of course, Fantasy Grounds for our VTT of choice. And if you want to make any Fantasy Ground purchases, consider using our really cool affiliate code that's right there. Bam. But yeah, there you go. All right. Let's now turn our attention to the stars of our show, to the characters who are embarking in this dangerous and sordid land of politics, disease, and terror. Patrick, our gunslinger, played by the wonderful Twiff. Twiff, tell us about your character.
All right, let's see. Do I remember who I am and what I do?
Who am I?
Hasn't been that long. So Patrick is a young fellow who is a half-elf. He had originally envisioned his life path going to study to be a wizard. However, when he was framed for murder and by Gadrin Lamb, that offer to go to the school was rescinded. He was also disowned from his family because it turned out that he was a bastard. That led him in his quest for vengeance to meet up with all these fine fellows. He's been trying to do good with them and put his talents to better use in turning his attention from magic to seeing if he can merge magic with bullets. And so far, he's been fairly successful with that.
Fantastic. And yeah, hopefully we'll get to see some of these magic bullets in action as the adventure precludes them. As you get to shoot stuff. There you go. Next on our list, of course, playing the role of Holly, our somewhat chewable fae, is none other than the delightful and wonderful Malakitha.
Hello. I'm not that chewable. Please stop trying to eat me.
You cannot stop me.
Hi, I am playing the role of Holly, who is noble fae, and she read lots and lots of books, but not the kind of books that her scholars or her tutors wanted her to read. They were not the scholarly type. She read lots of adventure books and decided that when her parents wanted her to marry off and do what the family wanted her to do, she decided she wanted to have some adventures of her own. So she ran off and met these wonderful people and decided that we were the good guys and we were going to save everybody because that is what heroes do. So she is in the midst of deciding that this is what needs to happen. And she's having a couple crises going on because we are the good guys. And she's suddenly realizing that maybe life isn't fair and maybe it needs to be fair. But with her, as always, is her best friend and her familiar, her husky, Penny.
Oh, I thought there was going to be more for Penny. Very well. In which case, we then swiftly move on to the very, very intuitive and street smart character of the group. That is, of course, none other than Quinn, the investigator, played by our wonderful Ire Genasi.
Hi, Michael. How are you?
Hi, I'm good. I'm slowly succumbing to pain medication. Yay!
Getting mellow. We like that in a game master. That's good. Nice and chill. I am playing the character of Quinn. She is a native to the city of the gritty city of Korvosa, of the investigator class. She is a detective, and she was brought together with her fellows due to misfortune and the guiles of a fortune teller, and has stuck with them through several adventures as we seek to find out what's going on with the epidemic that plagues the city.
Indeed, and there is much mystery to uncover. There's also a mysterious figure you're looking into somewhat, and following the trail of a mysterious vigilante that operates within the city itself. More on that a little later, I think. Unfortunately, once again, we are not met with Charles, who plays the role of Fido, but that is okay, because Fido is on their own adventure. And hopefully we will see Charles sometime soon. Next up on our list, of course, is Dante, our kitsune druid, master of the wilds. Hello, Rykon! I presume Rykon is unable to respond directly and will type in stuff in chat. But to tell you a little bit about Dante, Dante is a character who came into the city in order to try and uncover the source of a drug ring that had afflicted one of his friends. By working hard and teaming up with allies, he was able to at least bring an end to Gadrin Lamb, who he believed to be the head of that ring. But the true source of the drugs is still at large, and Dante is working hard with his allies to try and unearth the truth behind it, as well as do what they can to ensure the city's further prosperity. The city itself has worked well with Dante, having traded and done commerce with him on the regular. So its survival is definitely preferable to Dante. And last, but certainly not least, playing the role of our newest character, Agnes, is none other than my oldest fan and subscriber. And this is none other than the wonderful Laura Bones. Hi, Laura!
Oh!
The audio cut out the hello bit, and all it was just you
Oh.
just coming in going, oh!
No!
Yeah, that's pretty much it. Yeah, exactly it. Brilliant.
It's Laura Bones, and I play Agnes, the meh. She's not a cow. Agnes, the psychic.
Good, I'm glad we stipulated that. I was worried for a minute. I was fairly convinced. I was like, is she a cow?
Who's been caught up in all of this craziness and madness. I'm an old friend that is also a friend of the party who is now passed on, and a shopping trip that we no longer talk about.
Yes, we don't talk about that shopping trip. The shopping trip to which we do not speak. Yes. Excellent. Wonderful. And this is our lovely group of cast and characters that we'll be playing with today. Now, of course, we've got one more thing to thank, but before we do, we have one quick announcement, and that is the Dead Aussie Gamer channel is going through some changes coming up in the next month or so, including, of course, moving our live plays to YouTube directly. So we will be doing live streams, but those live streams will be available at the Dead Aussie Gamer live channel. In its place, however, we will be looking at doing a bunch of variety shows. So as these shows get created, they'll basically be replacing the live play. So you won't have to do anything to your schedule. Just be sure to watch me for the changes. That's a music term, in case anyone is a muso there. Just watch me for the changes. Yep. Nope. Okay, fair enough. I feel like people have been watching me for changes for like 3 years. So anyway, moving on. We have a bunch of things to thank you guys for, because you guys in the audience, you guys are what make these games so amazing and so much fun. And your interactions not only support the channel, but also make the game more interesting. For $5, you can give a player or the DM, you can give them points. For the players, they get hero points, which can be used to stave off death, roll with advantage, or petition the GM for nonsense. You can also give that point to me in order to make a jinx point, which I can use to mess with the group in many different ways. For $10, I'll draw from a random deck of plot twists to give a plot twist to the players. This is just something that will immediately happen, despite what the story might be. We've had lots of random things happen because of this. It's like a deck of many things for story. And then for $20, you can donate a golden 20, which is a natural 20 to either the players or myself. For $50, you can create you can boost up a boss fight or an encounter, making it more difficult, or provide the group with a magical item that they can use for the course of their adventure. And last but not least, we have our secret menu item. That's right, a secret, quiet, menu item. The secret menu item here will, depending on time, be a very, very large animal encounter. A very large animal encounter. Now, the secret menu item is a $100 donation, so trust me when I say that if I am going to be doing this as a thing, it's not going to be just a one-off thing. It might bleed into a few episodes. We'll have to see how that works, but there will be a significant animal-based encounter for the secret menu item today. All right. I think that brings us to where we are.
Is it a giant fluffy bunny?
It's a giant fluffy bunny. Yeah.
I knew it.
Been there. It's I call it.
Is it named Harvey?
No, I call it the pixie eater.
I want to pet a kitty. Holly gets to pet a kitty.
Oh, you can pet a kitty. There's lots of kitties in town. All right, so let's kick off, starting with. Here we go. Boom. Starting with some nice and cool music from our friends over at Sirenscape. Maybe. Hello? No? What happens if I push this button? Boop. There we go. All right. Cloudy skies thunder across the skyscape of the city of Korvosa. A small metropolis nestled in the heart, not the heart, but the edges of the Varisian countryside. Still under the rule of the Chilaxian Empire, but far enough away to be independent of a lot of the sordid and rather harsh rulings of the Thrune nobles. This city has come under siege in the last few weeks. Ever since the death of the Emperor, riots, chaos, anarchy have ruled here instead of law and order. And now, after everything, a plague grips this city. Our heroes, under the guidance of a ghostly fortune teller named Zalara, have been trying to do what they can in order to keep the peace here, to ensure that people are happy and prosperous. But it has been an uphill journey. The plague that has came so suddenly and spread so fast, there was barely any time to react to it. After speaking with the Temple of Abadar and a friend of theirs by the name of Ishavi? That's what I'm going to call him, till I find out his proper name. They learned that all clerics within the city had been pushed to their limits. The spells used to remove diseases had all been expended by the clergy upon their own, and people were coming in masses to try and rid themselves of the affliction. But not all were so fortunate as to be able to afford the services of the clergy. The sick, the poor, the downtrodden in the old Korvosa needed help, and it was up to all of the churches to rally together in order to help stop whatever was going on. Our heroes made their way through the city in order to try and recruit the other temples, speaking with the Temple of Eristil, the Temple of Desna, and, of course, more surprisingly, the Temple of Asmodeus. After a small diplomatic mission, it seemed that all of the churches were willing to participate, some for a price, and our group managed to facilitate this before an announcement was made to the masses. An announcement pertaining to, of course, the oncoming plague. It was... Here we go. It was as follows. Where's my handout? I don't know where my handout went. I will find my handout in a minute. But yes, the crux of it was... Oh, here we go. Yeah, no, this is it. Alright. Sweet. Handout. By decree of Her Royal Majesty, the Radiant Queen Iliosa, all citizens and members of the Korvosan Guard are to aid and admit the newly established Queen's physicians in this time of urgency. These royal agents will extend healing to those who are ill and organize defense against the spreading affliction known as Bloodveil. They are allowed to access any home or building they have deemed necessary in the course of their duties. All those suffering from disease or disorder are to submit themselves to the physicians for treatment. To aid in the duties of the Queen's physicians, know that the Order of the Grey Maiden shall also provide military support as needed. The maidens answer directly to the Crimson Throne and will be called upon as necessary to augment and strengthen the peace where the city guards will not suffice. Impeding or distracting the Queen's physicians or the Grey Maidens in the pursuit of their duties is punishable by imprisonment. Impersonating one of the Queen's physicians or a Grey Maiden is punishable by death. Knowingly harboring or hiding the infected is punishable by death. Purposely spreading the blood veil is punishable by torture, then death. The Queen's physicians will be making rounds of every city district henceforth until Her Majesty deems this misfortune has abated. And that is where we pick up our adventure. With our heroes in the courtyard of Castle Volshnik, the citadel in which the city guard make their resident. Having just heard the message, the scene now turns to you guys. The soldiers begin to part ways. The guards move themselves back to their busying points. The echoes of the words still seem to seep into the stone around you. The harshness and the reality of exactly how dangerous this plague is sets in.
I believe Cressida was up with the Grey Maidens.
That is correct. The Grey Maidens have already begun to leave the podium, descending down the stairs in the company of the new doctors. These physicians are being escorted. You can hear Cressida as she orders a few of the guards. You will escort the Dr. Devarius and her physicians in their royal duties wherever it may take them. It is not just the Grey Maidens who will be putting their honor and lives on the line to protect this city. Any order from the Grey Maidens are binding as any superior officer within the Korvosan Guard. And you are the Korvosan Guard. You will not balk. These are dire times. Your city needs these healers, and your city needs you. Your patrol leaders have your assignments. Go.
I try to catch her eye, since she summoned us to the Citadel.
She catches your eye and gestures, moving to a slightly quieter space.
We'll head over to that space.
All right. As you do so, Cressida sees you. This is probably the first time you've seen her in her battle armor. Nope, that's not right. Don't need for dramatic, scary music right now. Let's try this one. There we go. All right. Cressida looks at you. Thank you for coming. I wasn't certain. A lot has happened in the last few days. This plague has come out of nowhere, and there seems to be no end to it. The churches and the clergy are overwhelmed. The guards put their lives on the line not only because they're the ones who are on the front line, but also they're the ones who are putting themselves at risk from suffering from this plague as well. Help is very hard to find.
So every single temple is completely overwhelmed, but suddenly we have physicians that can help no problem? That seems weird.
Cressida looks at you. It looks as though she has something to say, but she's kind of biting her tongue on things. My understanding is that they offer services that the clergy cannot. Remedies and potions, similar to that of an apothecary, as opposed to those of divine magics. While divine magics are restrained by the faith and the fortitude of the clergy, these physicians use remedies that merely need resources. Resources which, they claim, we have in abundance. They just simply require time and the cooperation of the populace.
So if someone were to assist and help with that, then we would know what was in there?
I'm uncertain, but I would be careful. I do not have say over the physicians. The Queen has taken a very personal interest to their activities within the city, and my concern is that perhaps if she sees or if they see you as a potential threat, I cannot help you.
We just want to be helpful.
Yes, we're certainly non-threatening. Question: have we? Because I don't remember. Conveyed yet to Cressida the information that we did find concerning the ship that mysteriously sunk and seems to coincide with where the plague started?
Originated, yeah.
You have not yet, no.
So Patrick will note that we've been doing some looking into things. On our mission to retrieve the body from the necromancer who had wound up buying it, we found information that leads us to believe that he may have been studying disease and the creation of. The timing is certainly suspicious. We also found out about a mysterious ship that sunk and seems to coincide with not only when this disease started, but where it started. The timing of everything is definitely suspicious. You know, we have the death of the king, we have a mysterious disease, we have mysterious people coming in who claim that they can cure this mysterious disease. I don't know, there's a lot of things that don't feel quite above board. But we did want to see if we could at least investigate that shipwreck and see if we can glean any more information. We've managed to get promises from various temples to help and to work together. But one of them still wanted more information as to whether this was manufactured, and before they were willing to fully commit all of their resources.
I don't think we've shared with Cressida our theory about the manufacturing of the plague.
Yes, well, let's do that.
I think you just did.
Oh, yeah.
Cressida seems pensive at first. A lot of what you say is concerning, to say the least. And I'm not certain as to whether or not that is enough to make a tangible move on. If what you say is true, and believe me, I have my own suspicions as well, then we need to be careful. It means that someone is moving against the crown, or is moving on behalf of it. Whatever the case may be, this person is playing a dangerous game. And we do not want to tip our hand before we know who is providing us with this threat. For now, I would ask again for your aid in investigating perhaps the boat that you describe. I could provide some small resources, but again, as I mentioned, with the Grey Maiden now arriving and the Sable Company Marines all but disbanded, there's only very little that I can provide. She hands you 10 gold for the group. Actually, make it 12 gold just so we can split it evenly, but yeah. She hands you 12 gold. She says, this is what remains of the coffers for expenses. But I do have something that may be able to be at least of some aid. She hands you 2 scrolls of remove disease.
Excellent.
These are from my personal store. All the city officials were given these at the height of the outbreak. I'm keeping one for myself, but you take 2.
Thank you.
Yes, much appreciated. Now, is the ship is underwater, right? The shipwreck?
Yes.
It's completely sunk. All right. So Patrick would then probably ask, do you know who we might talk to in regards to getting equipment or potions or spells or whatever we might need to be able to investigate an underwater wreck? I mean, I can hold my breath for a little while, but not that long.
There's a apothecary, a small potions master who may be able to help you. His prices are a little steep, but I can give you an address.
Okay, that would be helpful. Thank you.
And if there's nothing further, I have matters to attend to. I wish you luck. Travel safe. She then...
Thank you, Field Marshal.
She'll turn and return to her duties.
And our thanks.
When she's out of earshot and we're out of earshot of any other people, Agnes will lean cautiously into the group and she says, "It's a wee bit strange, isn't it, that she would need the scrolls of removed disease? I mean, if these doctors could cure the plague, you think they'd start with the people that would really need it first? You know."
Right.
Like
Why would the
her.
guard need it if they've got these doctors who can do it, right? I understand.
So why aren't the healing like we're seeing too?
I think it's because they're spreading it.
I don't think the doctors are giving the cure, or at least not all of the cure. I think they're giving more things.
Oh, I
What
hadn't even
testing?
I hadn't even thought of that. A new virus being introduced.
They're
That's
just
nasty.
people,
Or they're just collecting results.
and
you know.
here, people are just drinking it. They could put anything in there. Why would you trust that? If you're getting healing from a cleric, the cleric can't do that because their god wouldn't let them do that. But some rando just hands you a potion and you're required to take it. That seems like a terrible idea.
It's alarming that they can just enter any home and force this compliance.
And also, if they're just curing things, why would they have to make a law that they're required to let you in? Because personally, if I was dying of a disease and someone was going to cure it for free, I would welcome that person in. I'm just saying. I don't think we should trust them.
I don't. Just want to make sure that I know what's going on before we do anything hasty.
Well, we also need to get the clerics working together because I think the clerics are the safest bet. And I think that's super important. So
And
I
which
feel like we should
reminds me-
focus on the clerics.
I've got to go to that thing. Do I still have, what's his name? Spark? Quart?
Well, you don't have
Cinder.
to do you don't have to do that thing until after the plague is over. He said that that's fine.
Right.
Well, I mean, right now, I think we've got them without any further investigation of that ship. I think we've got the clerics working together as much as we can.
We're missing more clerics of Pharasma. We need to do the ship
We've got
investigation.
some of them.
We have 6, but we can get more clerics of Pharasma working, and that would be way better.
Right, but that's why we need to investigate the ship.
We have to prove that it's manufactured before they'll commit more.
Yeah, so that's what I think we need to focus on. But we need, just keep in the back of our heads that those bitches are not to be trusted.
Oh, no, I absolutely have no trust for them. Them, the Hell Knights, there's just a whole bunch of different factions that have descended upon our city, and I'm inclined to fly under their radar as much as we can so that we can do actual work on getting rid of this disease without their interference.
So, where did she say that the apothecary fella was?
Turning to your map, you, unless there's anything further you'd like to do, you begin to make your way through the streets towards the apothecary. All right.
Does anybody know exactly how far underwater this wreck is? Like,
I don't know.
It is rough knowledge that the river that passes behind the city is anywhere between 90 to 120 foot deep.
oh. On average, how clean is the river?
Clean enough. It connects directly to the ocean, so the fresh water is always kind of flowing through it. Some people in the old Korvosa district use it for like washing and stuff like that. So, you know, it's clean enough.
Interesting invisibility. Okay.
Dante says, If we can get something to help us swim while we're also able to breathe underwater, we should be fine for the most part.
Okay then.
Alright, so water breathing potions and potions to help us swim better. I know there's an elixir that I could possibly even learn how to make that can help us with the swimming for short periods.
See what the apothecary
I
has to
don't
say as well.
know if I can make the version that lets us breathe underwater, though. So we may need to purchase that. I'm new in the
If
study
we
of alchemy.
purchase
so
one, we can use the device you have, couldn't we?
I need to know how to make it to use that.
Well,
Not worried about money, dearies. I got a wee little bit nest egg of savings I put aside. It was for, my daughter's future. But, well, she's not going to have much of one if we don't get this sorted, are we? So,
All right. Well, let's go visit this alchemist and see what we can work out.
All right. A small shop covered in vines and small plants that hang from the awnings at the front of the shop lies before you. Its name is... Its name is... here we go. It is called The Will of the Wisp. And you can see that hanging on one of the portraits is a small lantern made of grass and leaves and the like, and set into the middle of it is a permanent seed dancing light.
well, that's whimsical. Let's go. I open the door and push in.
Okay. Inside, the smell is bracing. It is a mixture of very strong alchemy together with like a lot of these very bitter herbs, some of which have been smoked and kind of burn at the back of your throat. It almost seems as though the scent and the smell is trying very hard to escape this room and the confines of it. As you enter this small, very humble-looking shop. A voice can be heard from inside. Yes, coming. Just bear with me for a minute. You hear
Take your time.
You hear a very soft clatter of glass and various materials being moved around as these kind of like very clumsy looking sounding steps make their way close towards you. Eventually, out of the back room walks what looks to be a man, an elderly gentleman, holding a kind of like almost like a petrified wooden staff with a mask over his face. A cowl over their head, and long kind of very, very, cheap robes.
Good day.
Hail, well met. Sorry, this place is in a bit of a state. How may I be of service?
We were hoping that you might have some sort of preparation that would help us breathe underwater or swim like fishes.
Thank God. I thought you were...
Or something that would do both.
Both is good.
I was afraid you were coming to ask about the disease removal potions. I've had to turn away quite a number of people today, and I fancied not doing it more. Letting people down is, it's
a hard thing.
Yes, especially in such trying times. But as for your water potions, well, that I can certainly help you with. If I might ask, what is your intent with the use of this potion? Not that it pertains to my business any, but it does matter in regards to how, like, the size of the potion, its duration.
We wish to explore a sunken vessel in the river.
I see. A sunken vessel in the river. Well,
so
we'd want to go maybe as far down as the bottom, so max 120 feet. It would be great if it could last, what do you guys think, an hour or two?
So I know...
Or is that ridiculous?
Usually, I've been doing a little reading up on these just in my general studies, and I know that the basic level, the kind that I can make, could just make you swim faster for like 15 minutes, half an hour, or something like that. I think the mid-grade will let you swim faster and breathe for about an hour. Now, this is the basic recipes, and then the most powerful will let you just do that for a full day. Now, the full day, I know, while that would be great, that's probably a little out of our price range. But again, these are just what I've read. I don't know if you've got any variations on it. An hour would be the minimum I would think we would need, and I think if we did that, we would need to have spares just in case, because we don't know how long it's going to take or what perils we may face. And there's nothing worse, I can imagine, than suddenly not being able to breathe underwater and being nowhere near the surface.
I can imagine. Your friend is a very learned person about the art of the apothecary. In fact, there is almost nothing else I can tell you. It's almost as if someone read an entire brochure on precisely what this potion did. Pretty much the only thing I can provide you is the price, but I'm sure you'll tell me what that is.
Well, I know
something low.
Yeah, I believe it's just like a couple of silver, right?
Yeah. Well, he does say that it is actually 11 silver for each potion. Okay. Each potion of water breathing will last an hour. As for a potion of swimming, a moderate potion of swimming will fetch you 50 silver. And we'll give you a swim speed for 10 minutes. What he suggests in this regard is, rather than using the potion of swimming to get to where you're going, to simply walk. Sorry, he does have some greater ones that he can make, which last an hour, and they are 25 gold each.
This is for the swimming?
This is for the swimming. Yeah, this is just swimming.
Yeah. And the water breathing were 11 silver, and they last an hour.
Yeah.
Okay.
The regular swimming potions are 5 gold each. This is the ones that last for 10 minutes. But what he suggests is that perhaps, if that is a steep price, that you only use it when you need to. 10 minutes would be more than sufficient to swim from the bottom of the river to the top. Because you would basically gain a swim speed equal to your land speed, which for most of you is 25 to 30 foot, which even in that case, you would be out in less than a minute. You know what I mean?
I think he's right. I mean, we could just sink down, I don't know, some rocks in our pockets or something, and just potter around. And then when we want to get out, you just dump the rocks and drink the potion and wait.
Now, Because you realize that Padrick inadvertently has offended this man by coming to him, an apothecary, and telling him his business. So he says, now will you be wanting bottles with that?
Of course we will,
I'm
young fella.
Well, you know, bottles
and pick up on this.
bottles are no good for drinking underwater, I'm afraid, son. He reaches out and he holds out what looks to be a sponge. He says these are specially treated alchemical sponges. Simply apply the potion here, and you watch as he pours just a flask of water into it, and it absorbs it, and then he drops it into the water, and then as he squeezes the sponge, the colored water that he put into the sponge pours outwards. This is how you drink potions underwater.
Oh, that's really clever. I never thought about that.
That is. I love to learn. And you look like a man that, it's a subject that fascinates me. And I'm sorry if I spoke out of turn.
Oh no! Why would I be?
I'm always looking for new information.
He says, no, not at all. I've had more than my fair share of people coming into my shop and telling me my business as of recent. You realize very quickly he's not referring to you. Likely he's referring to the physicians who...
Yes.
So he...
long, snooty noses on those guys.
He sort of rolls his eyes. And he says, so, yes, but back to business. What can I put you down for?
Wait, well, I think if we get 2 of the breathing each, and then 1 of the swimming each.
I think 1 swim each definitely is fine, especially because those are pricier. Minimum 2. Probably, if you've got the coin we've got the coin to spare, would not be out of line to get 3. I'm not a very good swimmer. I can swim as anyone from Korvosa can, but I haven't had good experiences with the water. I'd like to not be at risk, so I'm going to get 3 for myself at least.
Okay.
I've never been swimming before.
She looks at your wings, actually, Agnes, and then just goes, do they do all right when they're wet?
Never thought of that.
We don't really swim.
I might have to fold them up or something.
I can take a bath. That's fine.
Oh, right. Yeah, I never thought about that.
There's
not much.
They might actually help underwater.
Yeah, we could help you out between us. It's not like you're heavy or anything.
Well, as with most fairies, their wings are only aloft when sprinkled liberally with pixie dust, and pixie dust doesn't work very well when wet. She's a pixie, not a duck.
Alright. Well, for Padrick, I'm going to get 1 moderate potion of swimming and 3 of the water breathing. So that would be 5. So 8 gold and 3 silver for that.
All right. Very well. Please mark off your sheets the amount that you would like to spend on your various things. Dante's going to take a minor.
How much was the swimming again?
Holly's going to get 2 swimming and 3 water breathing.
The moderate swimming potion is 5
gold.
5 gold, yep. And the water breathing is 11
silver.
Okay, so that's 33 silver.
Or 1.1 gold if you want to do math.
8.3.
But who does? All right. Armed with their various potions and concoctions, our group now is ready to make their way to the site of the wreck. All right. Heading out from the apothecary, our heroes make their way. There we go. They make their way past through North Point and come eventually to North Gate. As you do so, the large bridge that would normally separate Trail's End and the Thieves' Camp and stuff from the main city appears to be closed and barred. Several soldiers seem to be standing at the ready. Caravans and people have been stopped, many of which are arguing with these silver-clad female paladins. What are you doing? I have to go. We've got business in other towns. One of them stands and pushes back. By order of the Queen's physicians, none may leave the city limits. As of right now, Korvosa is under quarantine. By order of Her Majesty. Any who...
I'm gonna push...
Oh, sorry.
Sorry, go
Any
ahead.
who attempt to break or breach this quarantine will be punished on the spot by death. This is outrageous. You can't do this. You hear people, again, like, sort of rallying up and shouting and you know, carrying on. The guards hold their shields up and their swords at the ready, which keeps most of the population... I mean, these are just civilians and merchants, right? So they keep back. One of the doctors, one of these physicians, steps forward. We understand your concern, but rest assured, this is only a temporary measure for now. Please return to your homes. The doctors will see you, and we will be sure to rid the city of this affliction once and for all. But to do so, we need your cooperation. There's still uproar and carrying-ons and the like.
I push forward to one of the guards. Excuse me. We have instructions from Field Marshal Croft. There's a resistance cell outside the city that's fomenting resistance against treatment, and they're sending people in covertly. She's asked us to investigate.
Make a bluff check.
Will do. Gotta figure out where I'm at. Come on, baby. Treat me right.
That's pretty good. Let me just check a couple things here real quick. Looking at some stats. Okay, where are you? Alright, here we go. And they have... what's yours? They have a big old intimidate. Okay. But that's not what I was looking for. Okay. Alright, let's see if they can pick your lie. Unfortunately not. She turns to the physician and basically says the same thing that you've said. The physician shakes his head. She turns and says, Cressida's authority is not recognized here. If there is a cell outside of the wall causing issues within the plague, then the Grey Maidens will be the ones to take care of it, not the city guard. Least of all those who are... She looks you up and down, seeing obviously you're not dressed as city guardsmen. I presume the others are kind of a little bit further back. Yeah. Least of all,
Yeah.
she says this with almost like a dripping vitriol in her mouth. Least of all, mercenaries.
Do we need to get past these guys to get where we're going?
Not at all. Basically, you know that just... hang on. Come here. No. Go away. There. That just over here on the map is another series of docks that you could launch from.
I thank you. And we are specialists, not mercenaries. And I turn away.
She goes back into the line and continues to, again, just keep people at bay, and slowly but surely the sounds of the commotion behind you fade.
They've certainly got a lot of authority, these doctors.
Yeah. And they're very inflexible. If she took you straight at your word, if it was just her.
Yeah, no, the doctor was the one that... But that's okay. There's other ways. Let's go.
Yeah.
All right. You begin to make your way back into the city and around towards the bridges to Old Korvosa. As you enter Old Korvosa, you actually notice that there is more of a military presence here. There are more Grey Maidens, there are more physicians who are moving through these areas, basically checking on people. Some people who almost seem healthy, shy of like a small cough, compared to like those people who, when they're at the height of Bloodveil, like, bright red and stuff like that. Even they're kind of been treating like, okay, keep your distance, this person is infected. You've never really seen this kind of like epidemic before, and there's definitely a certain level of assuredness to the populace from seeing how these guys are handling it. It's terrifying, to be sure, but the soldiers and the physicians are not balking. They're working very confidently through the districts and the way they're working. You eventually make your way towards Eel's End, which is where the Spider King was, that kind of area, and a series of docks here, which are run by a variety of different families. While here, you know that you can happily and easily find or acquire a dinghy or a boat to take you out into the river. Because as of right this second, there is no Grey Maiden forces out on the waters to try and prevent people from crossing the river this way. It's just people don't do it usually.
I lean towards Agnes and I say, maybe we could get your handsome friend to arrange a boat for us.
She giggles slightly and then collects herself. And what time of day is it currently?
I'd say it's probably about 4 p.m. It's getting a bit dark.
She'll just say, I was just wondering if maybe we should do this. Well, it's not going to help with the light, but it will help with us not being seen if we do it under the cover of darkness. It just means when we're down there, we'll not have as much.
Yes.
But I can help with the light situation while we're down there.
Can you? Well, that's useful.
Then she thinks about this and pulls out her packet of cards, and she's like, well, I'm not sure how they'll fare underwater, actually.
Yeah, if we want to take a little bit of time, I can make some dark vision elixirs that we can take before we go down.
Should we try to do this tomorrow night?
Yeah, I also
realize
that I'm going to
long, really. But
well, going to need to stash my guns somewhere. I feel that they're not going to do well with being underwater, and I'd like to not ruin all of my ammunition. I think I can't see well in the dark. I don't know if anyone except for Holly can. If we can get light, if you can make magical light, that would be fantastic. But do you need to speak to do that.
Agnes.
They're from a deck of cards.
Okay.
Oh, see here a second. I just thought like underwater that probably just, although they crumble after use anyway, but still, I was like, taking a deck of cards underwater.
Well, we could coat them with a thin layer of wax.
I think it would behoove us to make arrangements to go out
No, I'm just going to hold it in
under
my hand.
cover of darkness, and then maybe take a little time to prepare, keeping in mind that I'm not expecting us to encounter any problems underwater. Hopefully, I don't know what swims in here, but there are certain things that we're not going to be able to do that we would be normally used to doing, since we'll be underwater.
All right. So I think the overall consensus is for you guys to be traveling at night, which we can make preparations for. Before we go ahead, guys, I want to take a quick moment to welcome and thank all the raiders who just came in with Lou Boffin's stream. Guys, welcome in. It's so good to see you.
Welcome.
Also, guys, it was absolutely amazing getting to meet Lou and Jared at PAX this year. It was so wonderful getting to meet so many content creators, but Lou was absolutely stellar. And if you guys didn't get the chance to, I've got to say this, seeing Lou Boffin on stage in a number of panels, sharing their thoughts, their ideas, their values within the TTRPG community was an absolute treat and an absolute pleasure to see that creativity being like put out for people to see. It was awesome, and I'm as someone who did go and was able to see them all, it was so awesome. So yes, thank you for bringing your community here. For those of you who don't know who I am the skeleton in the corner. My name is Michael. I'm the Dead Aussie Gamer. I currently have 2 wisdom teeth out, and I am a lunatic, so I am on pain meds with a face that looks like Quagmire's, so you're not getting to see my camera at the moment. But we're here playing Pathfinder 2nd Edition, Curse of the Crimson Throne, where our heroes are trying to find the origins of a plague that has gripped the city. They learned that in the late a couple of nights ago, a ship, unmanned apparently, was sunk just in the river surrounding the city, and they are currently making plans to go and investigate this ship. They have made their way down at the kind of like twilight kind of hours to try and get a boat, and they've bought themselves a couple of potions, and we're about to see what happens as they go dive in. Also, guys, if you do get a chance to, do give us a follow, because we do a ton of like TTRPG stuff, and while at the moment I do a lot of live streams, going to PAX has really opened my eyes to doing a bunch of other stuff, so very soon there'll be a bunch of variety D&D stuff, some world-building games and things like that, interviews with people, whole bunches of cool stuff coming. Very excited, new content for the Dead Aussie Gamer stuff. So, yeah, check us out. Give us a follow. Do the things. All right. Sorry, guys. Let's dive straight back into it, shall we? See what I did there? You're going into the river, and we just dive back in. Okay. Yeah, I'm going to go. All right, so...
Oh yeah, that's a point. If we're going with the boat, we could just leave our stuff in the boat that we don't want to get wet.
That's true. Although, were you going to do the potions for dark vision?
Yeah, I can make some dark vision potions. Those might be
that as well.
Dante says, "Well, I do have dancing lights, and
oh right,
and I could use it before we go anywhere too deep."
Good point.
Oh, that might work.
If that works, that works.
All right.
I'm okay with leaving my stuff in the boat.
Should we leave someone at top? Obviously, I guess.
Yeah, because we don't want to, especially if we're going to leave gear in the boat, we don't want to come up and find our boat is gone.
Well, Penny can't exactly go swimming down into the deep depths, so Penny is quite capable of guarding your materials.
All right.
All right. As the evening passes on, you have a conversation with this handsome chap. Oh, well, I live and breathe. Hello there. I didn't think I'd be seeing you again so soon.
Oh, well, things as it were, it's quite busy, and well, we find ourselves in a bit of need of your aid again, she says.
Well, anything I can do to help such a lovely flower as yourself. What can I do for you?
Well, we're wondering, you see, if we could have the lend of a small boat. We need to do a wee bit of underwater investigation in the river, you see, and...
You watch as Dan, the fisherman, scratches the back of his head. He says, were I able to do that? You see, well, there ain't no fishing that's been happening recently because the Korvosa guard and those silver soldiers that came up, well, they told us that we're not allowed to go out into the river anymore. They're confiscating a bunch of them, and in the morning, setting up a perimeter around the city. It's got us all right, worrying. The Union's going to be going and doing a march on the castle later on. But, that being said, I can't give you any boats. But when I said, all of the sailors, well, we're on strike, Gonna make the dockyards mighty empty, around 8 p.m. when we all decide to go to see the castle.
Oh, right. And that'd be one boat that somebody perhaps accidentally forgot to tie off, and she winks.
He sort of smiles and he says, I love a sharp lass. Well, I don't know what you need to do out there, but I hear the fishing's good out in the dark waters if you simply head southeast. And with that, Dan turns around, he picks up his tackle box and his giant fishing rod.
He bends over, you can see Agnes just leans to have a little peek.
And you watch his broad shoulders kind of makes its way into the city. He raises a hand to wave you off, and he disappears into the crowd. All right. You wait until the appointed time, and sure enough, there are lots of people around there, and a lot of disgruntled fishermen whose boats are being kind of anchored and moored. But as it hits 8 p.m., almost like clockwork, every single sailor on the dock disappears. In a cloud of smoke. No, no, they walk back into the city. Signs and picket signs, just making their way directly into the city to go protest the stopping of their livelihood. You see that there is a small boat, quite a seaworthy one, that belongs to Dan, moored up, and with very little trouble, you're able to take it out into the water. The darkness of this river only is illuminated by the soft light from a crescent moon. As you make your way out, the waters themselves seem shallow at first around the edges near the docks, but then there's this thin strip that runs straight through the middle of the river, where dark, murky waters tend to triumph. This is around the space that you were told the ship a few nights ago was sunk. The sound of the anchor drops as you weigh it. It sinks and goes deeper, deeper, deeper. And then the chain comes to a stop. You look at the etchings on the actual anchor itself. It is 112 foot deep.
Oh.
All right.
Agnes
Well,
takes off her bangles and pulls off a bulky outer skirt, so she's just got a thinner undershift thing kind of on. Wraps everything up in a bundle of skirts and that, and then leave a little bundle, puts it down on the deck.
yeah, Patrick's gonna make sure that his weapons and ammo are safely stowed as dryly as he can on a boat before quaffing a potion of water, breathing, and diving on in.
I also take a card out of her deck of cards. I forgot light works differently in this. It's just permanent-ish. A card out of her a deck of cards that she's got, and she taps it to a coin that she's got in her hand, and it begins to glow briefly, but then she'll close her hand over it so it's not shining yet, and then quaff her potion and gulp as she looks down into the dark water and goes, "Oh, I hope it's not too cold," and then whoop, jumps in.
I'll dispense with my hat and my jacket, but I'm keeping my sword and my bag, and I'm going to quaff also the water breathing and splash into the darkness.
Holly's
I've got just a hatchet for a weapon with me.
Yeah, Holly's gonna stash the crossbow and keep all of her knives and her necklace of knives and her thieves' tools and pretty much most everything. She will leave the necklace of fireballs though, because the fireballs probably won't work really well underwater.
All right.
And she's gonna jump in after drinking the potion.
Dante, are you going to go into the water in your kitsune form, your fox form, or your human form? Dante is going into the water in... As soon as he types it. Otherwise, I'll roll the dice.
Anticipate.
Master of anticipation. There's a lot of typing. Give me a moment. Okay, no worries.
He's doing a lot of things before he jumps in the water.
Yep. It's spicy. All right. Firstly, I'd like to sail back to land. I'd like to buy a diving bell. Come back to the boat. While we have a moment, guys, in case you didn't know, there are ways to interact with the game as we play. Now that everyone's underwater and in super danger, boom, there it is. Look, all the things you can do to mess with them. Ha 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 ha.
He's a druid. He's just describing the fish he's going to turn into.
Oh, yeah, that makes sense. That could be a thing. I will transform into a herring. A bright red herring.
Nice.
Thank you. Thanks, I'm here all week.
Oh.
Try the veal.
I think at what level 5, probably a herring, so as good as we're going to get, really.
Oh, here we go. All right. Dante casts Dancing Light 50 foot into the water so that the light won't be seen glowing from the surface. He then sets aside his bag of holding and backpack. Once that is done, he takes his water skin and empties the contents, adding the potion of water breathing and some air to it before closing it off. He'll then tie it to his hip and take his wand, taking his wand of animal form, uses it to change into a shark and jump into the water. Are you sure you don't want to use the sponge? Little bite-sized sponges that you guys got given. Because the thing about using using the sponges for
Water
swimming.
skin.
Oh, right. Sponges for swimming when the animal forms whatever. Yeah, that's smart. Smart. Okay.
All right. And Dante's telling us he's turning into a shark before he does it, right? So we're not all freaked out that a shark is following us.
He says yes.
Thank you.
He says yes, but I didn't hear anything before you dove it. No, it's fine.
I jumped last, so I heard it.
All right. Very well. In which case, our heroes dive into the murky depths. All right. So,
Jaws themes plays.
Just when you thought it was safe to go back in the water.
all right. Oh, here we go. Nope, it's still waiting. Why is it waiting in the water, not diving?
This season's danger.
Okay, so
The incompetent adventurer.
our heroes descend into the water. It is definitely cold. Some may say frigid, in fact. The only person who is not affected by this cold is, of course, the shark that swims down with you. Descending is not a difficult task and doesn't require any check of any kind. You start to sink 20 foot, 30 foot, 40 foot, 50. You start to feel the cold now biting at you, and I need everyone, with the exception of Dante, to make fortitude saves. Is the music super loud?
I see, it's that little extra layer of, fat
It's
that
a-
Agnes
I
has.
think a
It's
good
keeping
level.
her warm.
Could someone in the audience just check that? Because it looks like my audio is like going nuts at the moment. But
Oh yes, I can hear sometimes if a mobile's going off near something and you can hear that.
oh, is that?
I can hear that.
Are you guys hearing what?
Yeah.
It sounds
Like.
fine to me.
Oh, I can hear it.
That's weird. Yeah, just let me know if there's something wrong with the audio. That's all. Sounds fine. Thanks, Joe
Little
Monkey.
angry buzzing.
Okay, cool. All right. So, with our fortitude saves of 26, 29, 27, and 15. A 15, unfortunately, you do start to suffer from the cold. And you are actually going to begin.
Holly is chilly.
You are chilly. You are fatigued. As your body begins to shiver in order to try and generate heat to combat the cold, it has just made your physical movements down and deeper, just a little bit harder. This was one of the risks of going at night versus going during the day where the water would be warmer. You continue to descend further. 80 foot. 100 foot. And then the bottom. There you are confronted with this. A large oceanic vessel. Boom, there it is. And let me get my characters here. Agnes, Dante, Holly, Padrig, Quinn. Nope. Oh, Quinn. There we go. All right. So, what you see beneath you is
Great blackness.
the Direction. A large ship that seems to have sunk here, riddled with cannon holes from the various towers that opened fire on this empty vessel as it entered into the area surrounding Korvosa without so much as a single word or signal. You can also see that after sinking, it broke, splitting apart along a large underwater ridgeline, separating it into two different independent parts. The forward and the aft parts of the ship, now separated by that large stony mass. Okay,
The map's only black for me.
Is it now? Let me.
Yeah, so I know Dante
as
said
well.
he was given a dancing light above each of our heads so we could see.
But once we get
What
like
colour is your-
underwater as
you know,
well,
I'm-
Agnes will open her hand up and her coin will glow. I think it's 30 foot. You cast light on it.
That's helpful.
Better?
There we go.
Yes, please.
Yeah,
Thank you.
thanks.
You're welcome. All right. So there it is. The dancing lights from above still illuminates and will illuminate for the most part indefinitely. I'm not gonna muck about with like, it's too dark to see stuff. Lighting is not the drama here. It is the underwater stuff. So we're not gonna worry about that. All right. As you descend, this is at the 112-foot mark, so your anchor is actually not too far away from here. But how you move is now in 3-dimension, so you'll need to tell me, like if you want to be moving up or lower. Right now, you guys are 20 foot above the direction itself. So, where would you like to go?
We can't talk to each other, can we?
You cannot. You will need to communicate through
We can
hand
make
signals.
hand signals.
Yeah.
I'm gonna kind of wave my hand at everyone and point to the ship because Holly is under the impression that what we need is inside the ship, and she's gonna kind of point and start swimming down.
And I've got no better ideas, so I will.
That's
I
not
will
supposed to be
follow.
on this. All right.
Sure, it's not.
All right.
I do not like that sound.
Okay. Unless anyone wishes to do, unless someone wishes to do something different, you guys can make your way towards the first of the portholes, if you would like.
Yes.
I would like, but I am not seeing where the portholes are.
Nor am I.
All right. Well, that is
Well, I'm gonna.
there.
Oh, I see.
Am I at a porthole?
No, that inside there is, so that's the other side of the door to where Quinn is.
Where? Here?
Nope. Guys. Kamate, what the hell?
I don't know where I'm going.
This side of the door. Because as I mentioned, the actual ship itself, when it hit the rock, split in half, so that opening that's in there is actually pressed up against that rocky wall. So you won't be able to swim down there. But that hole there will lead inside. Opening the porthole, inside what you see is a yawning wound into the ship's charred timbers, and murky water that flows inside with debris cluttered and loose timbers. Small fish seem to dart between these little floating bits of wreck, and a dozen identical boxes seem to float eerily quietly in the darkness. As you enter, I need whoever enters, I need you to make me a perception check.
All right, I have entered, and I will make a perception check.
And while I remember, there we go. Dante's a shark. Dun, 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 dun. Okay. Now let's see how we go with this. Give me there we go. And oh, terrible. Agnes, you're the only person who is not aware.
Mm-hmm.
Of what appears to be an incredibly large great white shark.
Watch out.
Oh, it's Gabriel's friend, isn't it?
All right, this huge silhouetted creature moves listlessly in the water. It seems to be patrolling almost. Quietly, moving only ever so slightly in order to propel itself, but the strength of its fluke able to make it move with nearly no sound.
Well, this is unfortunate. Can we tell if it's noticed us?
It would be very surprising if it hadn't, but at the moment, it seems to be treating you with an air of curiosity as opposed to hunger.
Alright.
And there's boxes floating around in here?
Yeah, about a half dozen of them just ambling idle. They seem to have once upon a time been like, maybe they were, what do you call it? Like for storing supplies and things like that. This is kind of what they were used for. But they all seem empty.
I do want to check and see if there's any markings or anything on them that just might give any sort of information about what might have been in them.
All right. Are you going to be moving casually, or are you going to be trying to move carefully?
I'm going to try and move carefully because there's a big, giant, potentially hungry shark that I don't want him to see me as a threat or notice me at all.
Sure. Make a athletics check.
Athletics.
And we also have a redeemed insight bonus from Odd Bandicoot. Odd Bandicoot's insight check. This creature could not have gotten into this ship through the porthole you entered. Because not only was the porthole closed, but you know how like when wood swells in water and kind of gets jammed a little bit?
Right.
You are confident that the swelling of the door wouldn't have been left open if a shark this size had come through.
So it came in some other way. All right. Oh, wait. So you said athletics check?
Yes.
I'm not very good at that. That's awful. I have a hero point.
You are really bad
I'm
at
going to re-roll
All right.
that crap roll.
All right, I'm going to take that hero point off you.
Cool, I doubled it.
That is true. All right. You make your way swimming
That's terrible.
very, very, very difficultly. But as you swim towards what would be the mast, all of a sudden, there is a crash of wood. Splinters fly out as the shark makes its move at the suddenly moving target.
You hear a bit of a garbled, yelp from Agnes, who up until this point had been completely oblivious of the shark until it smashed through the wall. So you just hear
Good thing you...
All of a sudden, I feel like Holly.
Quinn will draw her sword.
Yeah, I've got a hatchet.
That is a critical miss. But you know what? This is dramatic enough. I'm going to burn one of my jinx points.
Of course he is.
I mean,
Someone must be eating every session.
I mean, look, if I miss, I'm happy with that. But if I critically miss, I'm like, nah, that's not scary. Let's try that again, shall we? Boom. That's much better. Critical hit.
Oh, great. Now I'm dead.
All right. That is 33 damage.
Ow!
As this huge explosion of wood and teeth fly out in Padrick's direction. Now, the great white shark does not bite, grapple, and then roll like, say, a crocodile does. What it does is this is, and I know this sounds very facetious because of the damage, this is an exploratory bite. Are you edible? Let's see. Alright, pick a number between 1 to 5 and let's see what the crit did.
Great. Let's just go with 5 because we're feeling that way.
Alright, missing limb? No. Maybe.
All right.
Oh.
Hey, I've already got one prosthetic.
That's true. All right, this actually checks out. So this is, I'm going to count as slashing damage. You take 1d4 persistent bleed damage. So you're taking 1d4 damage per round until you healed, as the wound is quite bloody. The shark then uses this opportunity to pull itself back through that hole it's created and kind of returns to its patrol.
Guess it decided you weren't tasty enough.
I'm glad, but ow. I like ow. What can I do to yeah.
All right. Now, we can go into an
I
initiative,
have healing potions.
depending on how you guys want to react to that. Obviously, I imagine you guys are all now on, like, super alert. But I want to give you guys an opportunity to do stuff before we move on, like, past this scene. So, if anyone wants to do anything before the shark pulls its head back, or if anyone wants to do something in response to it, you may do so now.
Okay, so the shark's head was in like a hole?
No, it crashed. Well, what was effectively the floor between the mid and the lower decks, it smashed through it with his head. So now there's a massive gaping hole here.
Okay.
Padrick is going to go into shock and try not to bleed out. That's gonna be his focus. And I'm not going to retaliate because I'm in a lot of pain.
Oh, yeah, no, I imagine.
Holly, is there a place where Holly can like kind of post up and be like, if the shark were to come through in the same location, where she would be kind of behind the shark if he were to come through again?
Okay, so what you basically want to do is you want to go to here-ish.
Okay, yeah. So if he pops his head through again, she would like to be behind him.
Sure. Not a problem there. All right.
And be very stealthy so he doesn't notice her right away.
You can roll a stealth check. Presuming you don't have any open wounds currently.
I do not have any open wounds yet.
While she's doing that, I'm going to take one of my little sponges and unstopper a minor healing potion.
Can you hear us?
Can you hear you now?
Hello. I was going to say Agnes will, when she sees the blood pooling from Padrick, she will reach out and cast Soothe.
Yep, very well. Cool, you are no longer bleeding. So, sorry,
him.
just before we resolve that, Quinn, just finish your...
I was just gonna apply the minor healing potion to one of my little sponges, which was meant to be for water breathing.
Yep, okay, yeah, not a problem.
And move ever so slowly towards Padrick.
All right.
And Holly's gonna re-roll her stealth with her hero point.
Okay, very well. Not a worry. All right. And Dante swims in and goes, "What's going on, guys?" That is it's a brilliant stealth. Feels worth the hit point. Feels worth the hero point, doesn't it?
I'm not very stealthy right now. That was not good.
Okay. So as you guys gather around, thankfully the shark does not seem interested in you at present. The wound on Padrick's leg is now soothed thanks to Agnes. Agnes, what's the effect of soothe?
I'm casting at the heightened as well, so it's a healing spell, but it goes at 30 foot. The greater target's mind boosting a spell defense and gains wound. The target gains 1d10 plus 4 hit points when you cast a spell and gains a +2 status bonus to saves against mental effects.
Brilliant. Have you dropped the heal on him?
No, you said wait. We'll resolve that in a second.
All right, let's drop that heal on him.
Nice. I'll do it at heightened as well.
Nice. All right, 22 points of healing to Padrick as you are soothed.
Padrick's just 2 thumbs up for that. That makes me feel a lot better.
You're here in your head. Oh, you're welcome, dearie.
All right.
She casts message.
Brilliant.
I'll think back, thanks. I don't know if that's going to do anything.
It does.
Brilliant. All right. Next up. With the shark somewhat still present and super dangerous, our heroes continue to make their way deeper in. Patrolling and guarding not just against the creature when they can see it through the slats in the stairs, but also when around the gaping hole that now exists in that floorboard. Eventually, you come to what looks to be 2 sets of doors, one on the midship and one on the lower deck. The lower deck one shares the same deck as this large shark. So it's kind of going back and forth.
Yeah. I don't want to meet the shark again. So Padrick's gonna go through the door because that's not where the shark is.
All right. As you go to grab onto this door is quite firmly jammed in. As I mentioned before, the wood has swollen to the point where it is now pressed up hard against the actual frame of the door. I need a athletics check as you try to pry it open.
Fantastic.
Does that work so well?
I did so well on that before.
It does not budge.
You split the difference.
You did split the difference.
I did. So I rolled a 2, a 3, and a 4 so far for my athletics check. Padrick is more, the scholarly bent as opposed to the athletic bent, apparently.
At least you didn't roll a 1 on your primary skill.
Did not. And, it's not like my strength is that bad. I just don't have any training in this.
I push up close to him and I try my hand.
With a 21, it groans and it creaks, but it doesn't quite budge.
Okay.
It looks like a little bit more and you would definitely have it through.
Can Holly?
All right. Can I take my hatchet and try and, I don't know, cut away at the edges to see if we can unstick it?
Yes.
Seeing what he intends to do, I face the other direction where I believe the shark might come up through the floor again and ready myself.
All right. You brace yourself and keep an eye on it. Sure enough, after every few hits, you can see that the shark is making its way towards you. Do you do anything in response to that?
Nope. Just waiting.
All right. Okay. Here we go. The shark encroaches closer and closer.
As soon as it's within sword's reach, if it's approaching aggressively.
As it gets within like 20 foot, it starts to move quite aggressively.
I'm going to strike it.
All right. Make your attack.
I gotta find it. Give me a nanosecond. Actions.
A natural 20! All right. A massive hit. Now, I've got good news, I got bad news.
I know.
The good news is you landed a crit. The bad news is that it is a slashing weapon. Underwater, slashing weapons, anything that's not piercing as a weapon does half damage. Oh, sorry, anything that's not a natural attack or a piercing weapon does half damage. So, you're going to do the damage, so roll the damage, but, you know, it'll be halved.
Well, so I'll just... It's a normal roll.
Yeah. Normal roll, but only the weapon damage will be half, so not the electric damage. So that is -5. So I'm going to heal the shark 5 hit points. Oh, wait, did you drop it on the shark? Sorry.
Oh, I'm sorry. Hang on. As always, window management is my problem. Come here. All right.
And hold down left shift when you do. Oh, yeah, no.
Oops, no, that's the attack.
Yeah. And hold down left shift when you drop the damage on him. This will do a critical hit, which we will then, like I said, I'll halve them physical damage manually.
All right, I got it.
You got it.
I think I got it.
Boom, that's much better. All right, 35 points of damage. So I need to heal him 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. So he heals 10 hit points from that. All right, a still sizable blow. However, as it does so, electricity flies off your blade, and as your attack hits, everyone. I need everyone to make me a reflex save.
I knew it would be a risk, guys.
As the electricity erupts. Holly...
There's just nothing good where sharks are involved.
Holly is fine. Right, Dante is fine. Save. Agnes is fine. Quinn is fine. Patrick is fine. None of you take any residual electric damage. And Quinn, I need you to give me a number between 1 to 5.
I would like a 3, please.
1, 2, 3. Bam. There it is.
Bam. We get it.
All right, here it is. It is slashing from chops to groin. Triple damage. And the target must succeed a fort save or immediately die. Let's try that.
Yes, please.
So roll one more set of damage on him. Now I am still going to halve the physical damage, but you will still do extra damage. So this one's just normal.
And it's just a regular roll. Okay.
Yep. Okay, so that is heal 2, 3. So I'm going to heal another 3 damage from that, so that's fine. Okay. Now, you must make a fort save or die. So, in this case, a fort save of an appropriate level is...
In her head, Agnes is just thinking, first fire, now electricity. What's going to be next? I'm going to throw rocks on my head.
Okay, 21 is an appropriate DC for this level. So, I'm going to make it 20... I'm gonna make it 21. I think you've caught him by surprise. You've made the hit. It's done triple damage. If this succeeds, you will basically cut it along its lip all the way through its body. Let's see how that goes.
And in my head, I'm thinking I'm also chumming the waters.
Oh, that will absolutely rip it in half. But I do have some jinx points, so I'm gonna try. I'm gonna try to make it live. It does not survive. So Quinn, with a flash of electric steel in a single blow, rips this shark, cleaving it in twain as it perishes. As that happens,
Patrick is given an underwater high five to Quinn.
Hands are moving really slow. And it makes just a squelchy noise.
that was freaking amazing. My excitement is only mediated by the fact I can't open my jaw any wider. But I am. That was freaking epic. That was so epic. You know what? I'm gonna use one of these. Hold on. This is how I'm gonna express how epic that was. You ready? Hold on. Where is it?
Oh, that's nice. Beatitudes. Beautiful.
There you go. All right. The shark was just supposed to be like an event encounter. Like, it's not supposed to be like a combat thing. But yeah, I mean, that works too. Like, let's murder it. Okay. The door is still, however, jammed. But Patrick has been working on it slowly. And the door eventually opens. As it does so, on the other side of the door, a hideous crone seems to be floating among the debris. An old woman who looks like she may have drowned in this, in the wreck, seems to just be kind of listlessly floating there.
Oh dear. In her head, Quinn will hear, this might be a wee bit more difficult than the ghost. I mean, the shark. It is a ghost. Sorry.
As these ominous words leave Agnes's mouth, the old crone turns. She appears like this.
Probably.
Also, I'm getting these notifications on Twitch, which I want to point out. This could be a good time to remind your viewers to follow so that they can catch your next stream. Hey guys, if you haven't followed us before, consider giving us a follow, because apparently Twitch is telling me how to run my channel. No, I actually appreciate it, because I forget stuff like that. Yeah. Okay. Where was I at? Yeah, so the old crone, she turns and looks at you. It looks as though she's about to say something, but stops. You notice that the blood of the shark, a lot of blood, starts being carried by the currents here. And as some of that slightly pink-dyed water reaches the long, twisted nostril of this woman, she
Great, we killed her dog.
basically, she lets loose this manic scream. And points what looks to be a shark tooth spear in your direction before lunging in your direction. And sadly, we don't have enough time for combat. So I'm going to take this opportunity to end on this cliffhanger right here, leaving out on a victory of Quinn having slayed the shark. I think that's a good place to go. Thank you so much, everyone, for joining us today. Also, ending early is not a bad idea for me because, I can go deal with my face. But
Face.
But no, this was absolutely amazing. It was so good to be back. It's been a while since we played Curse of the Crimson Throne. I'm glad we got to I can have my face with the rest. You know, it's really good to play with Curse of the Crimson Throne again. It's also good to see all of you guys because I miss playing with you guys. It's so much fun. Psycho Sea Hag, John Wick style. Yeah. Don't make me laugh. Fuck. Okay. No, that was really good. Commander Steel, kudos. Well done. She survives somehow, and then like all of a sudden you find out like Cressida's been killed, and like it's like, you know, we need to go get help. We need to go find help. I know what we'll do. We'll go talk to Jackagon. Jackagon's potion store's on fire. It's like, what the shit? Yes. And wait for it. You ready for it? It is because she was the Baba Yaga.
Oh,
It checks out.
God.
It all checks out.
It checks out.
All right. Guys, thank you so much for joining us. My name is Michael. I'm the Dead Aussie Gamer. This has been an amazing game. We will be playing, at least for the next few weeks, on the Monday slot here on Twitch, until my variety show is ready, and then we'll be going to that. Changes will follow as they do, but if you want to keep up with them and if you want to chat with me, guys, consider coming over to my Discord. There's some cool people there. I'm trying to get better at using my Discord. I've used it as an excuse for a long time. It's like, hey, if you at me in my Discord, I will respond to you. I will say hi. I will notice your stuff. But because I run so many games, I always use that as a reason as to why I'm not doing it. But it's a new dag. It's a new day. It's a new dag. And I'm going to be looking at doing a lot more fun activities with my Discord, maybe some competitions, little mini games, as well as looking at keeping like a good measure of things like NPCs that my Discord creates for my own worlds and games as well. So lots of cool stuff to come up there as well. We also have Gift Tales, which I'm starting up again, which was always fun. Which is where we just put gifts to communicate what's going on in a game as we're playing. So we had we had our game of Spelljammer on the weekend, and I put a GIF because I failed my intimidation check with my GIF. So it was a GIF of a baby hippopotamus. And I was like, yes, that is me being intimidating. It was very cute. I liked it. So yeah, come along, play games, do things, make mischief. As for where we are going now, guys, what am I doing tomorrow? Tomorrow I will be on the Mercs of Mischief channel playing Marek, the Goblin Ranger. Wednesday I'll be back with my fam over at Careful Cantrip and playing Basil, the wizard, as far as anyone else knows. Then Wednesday we'll also be back with our winter-based Pathfinder game, The Reign of Winter. Friday, we'll be back with the Ruby Phoenix. Then Saturday, more Spelljammer. And then, yeah, there you go. That's it. Lots of games for you to play. So if you haven't already, yeah, consider giving us a follow and check all the cool stuff out. We are now going to go and raid our dear friend, Darling Creepshow, who I think today would be painting some minis. Darling Creepshow, painting minis, hanging out, reading tarot cards. There we go. Cool. So, Darling Creepshow, wonderful role player, great content creator. We're gonna go send them all our love and support. So be sure to fill their chat with all the love hearts and all of your support, because that is how we raise each other in this community. We are playing a game that we all love and share with one another, and it is super important to be that kind of person to, share that and carry it on. So, till we meet again, guys, stay safe, stay wonderful, be the best you that you can be, and till we meet again, as always, game hard, or die trying. Bye, everyone!
Bye.
Bye.